Welcome to the Hound's Tales podcast, brought to you by Chestnut Mountain Feed Company, Affordable Auto Care, Rock C, and Farm Bureau of Appomattox and Matt English. Thank you for listening. Welcome, everybody, to episode 15 of the Hound's Tales podcast. My name is James Hudson, and joined with me, as always, is Dylan Watson and Daniel Evans. Tonight's episode is going to be on hunt prep. We're talking about prepping for a hunt, for a one-day hunts, for three-day hunts, for deer season, and kind of what it takes to get your dogs ready, get yourself ready, and all the kind of stages that go along with that. It's not necessarily just a jump in your truck and head down the road kind of thing. So I know a lot of people that are in the sport right now and listening that they kind of know what the deal is, but maybe some of the people and kind of looking for a little kind of heads up on what's coming as far as getting ready for hunts. This will be a good one for y'all. We can start with the 1 days, getting right into it.
Yeah,
I think one of your biggest deals, and we talked about this in another episode, and for all three scenarios that we're going to talk about tonight, and each one you kind of prep different, but conditioning your dog. There's different ways to prep your dog for each style. Like one of the biggest things that stand out to me as far as prep conditioning wise goes has got to be the last time you run them. For a 1 day, I'll run them. If the hunt's on Saturday, I'll turn them loose Sunday out in the open. I got no problem with that for a 1 day hunt. That's a good last little sprint right there before the hunt's actually going to start, or even a week before. And everybody's different on this, but for me, for a 1 day, I'm perfectly fine doing that. What do you think, Dylan?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, back to what we probably said before, that last week of the hunting season. If you think about it, we run ours just about every day. We might skip 1 day to give them a break, and the rest of the week they're running.
Right.
So I mean, which if you think about it, before that last week, you run them every single weekend for all day long.
Yeah. And then the very next week you go into a hunt.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And if you recognize something, that was when we had that winning streak, or not winning.
Yeah. Placing streak.
Placing streak.
Right. Obviously it's going to be a little bit different for 3 days. We'll kind of get back to that here in a little bit, but I don't see no reason you can't turn a dog loose at least the week before. They're solid enough to run that. Another big one is the night before is hydration and food. We found out the hard way. We took a long trip down to Foxtail earlier this year, and I did not feed mine before we left. I was going to feed him when we got down there, and I figured that was enough time. Well, he was so antsy, and there was so much commotion with other dogs going around that he didn't eat. He didn't want to eat. I mean, I stuck him in the dog box. We put him in the lot by himself. We tried all kinds of different things, but it was just a new area. He was nervous. It was so much going on. He wouldn't eat. So I learned right then, unless you're down there way, 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 way before, then feeding before you leave is key. And you could tell it kind of put I think he placed in enough to be noticed, but not enough to bring anything home. But you could tell. I feel like if he would have ate, I've always wondered what he would have done if he'd actually ate something within that 24-hour period.
Yeah.
I mean, Daniel, you see it every day. We go to the lots. Now that we've kind of got ours on a cycle, they know when it's time to eat, and they'll go ahead and eat. But you can almost see a little bit of a difference between them when their energy level. If maybe it's an off day, some days dogs eat a little bit less, and you can almost tell a little bit of an energy difference in them. And that you just imagine what that goes into a hunt.
Yeah, you can tell a difference when they ate good the day before and you get to the lots.
Yeah,
to feed again. I mean, you can usually tell.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're bouncing off the walls.
Right.
And then sometimes they're just like, eh.
Yeah.
So you can definitely tell the difference.
Yeah. I mean, I've always heard a lot of people that are against dog hunting, they always say something along the lines of people say, oh, you dog hunters think that if you starve your dogs that they run harder. I'm telling you, if you ever hear that from somebody that says they're a dog hunter, they're not a dog hunter. They're a dog abuser, and I wish somebody would turn them in. I can't stand it. I really can't stand it. That's, to me, neglecting a dog like that, and starving them to make them run harder is just flat out neglect. And you can really you can tell it. I mean, a little early, but my deer dogs, them suckers are on self feeders, and they control their own eating. Now, sometimes, like in this turkey season, they get a little fat and get a little overweight, but they burn it back off. But they know how, especially during the season, they know, okay, your food's there. I'm getting ready to go the next day. They know during the season just about every day they're going to be eating. So they kind of control their own selves, and you can tell that they're never. I'll turn loose several times a day, and they never lose the energy. But sorry, we're getting a little off topic there, but hydration is huge too. Along with food, it's not just the food. It's keeping them hydrated. I got one that for some reason can't. I don't know why. I know, Daniel, me and you talked about it the other day at the lots. He just does not. He won't drink a whole lot. I don't know why. I don't know. He's healthy. Everything looks fine on him. It's just, it seems like he just lacks the will to want to drink water.
Yeah, I haven't understood that yet.
I don't know. I know for that last hunt, I took Gatorade and Dine and mixed it into his water, and he sucked it down, and he was just as hydrated as he could be. Kind of have to trick him a little bit to make him get that extra hydration, but whatever it did, it worked. He stayed extremely hydrated that hunt. That's big. You're not going to go out there and run a marathon as a person drinking nothing or drinking something that you don't need to be drinking. The dog's the same way. Our buddy Brad Keefe, he kind of woke us up to a certain deal, and this really plays into the 3 days, it seems like. But we never thought about it until he mentioned it. But making a dog relaxed, making sure they're comfortable in their environment. You get down there, and I think we've learned our lesson. And I keep bringing up Foxtail, but I feel like every time we go down there, we learn a lesson off of it. The last time that we went, the dogs were at the wire. They're so used to, when we went down to pools a whole lot, we would go down the morning of. So they were used to, when they got in the box, they knew what was going on. They relaxed on the ride down. When they got put in the holding pen and holding lots, they knew that, okay, it's almost time to go. Let's get ready. So we go down the night before at Foxtail, and we put them in the holding pens out there. And for the first 2 or 3 hours, they're jumping out the wire thinking that they're ready to go. So it almost screwed with their minds a little bit, and they stayed up for several, 4 or 5 hours that night, bouncing out the wire. It feels like they might have just burned too much energy out on them. But Brad made a point to us that making a dog comfortable and getting him relaxed and used to his environment really plays a big part. And I think that goes for 1-days too. You get him on a rhythm, like I just said, if you know that doing that 1-day, going straight down there, he knows, okay, I'm on the ride, I'm in the box. When I get down there, that's when it's time to go. And he's still got that energy. I mean, don't you agree, Dylan? That's kind of what we kind of noticed down there at that last hunt.
Yeah, they barked on and off for a while.
Yeah, kept me up.
Yeah, kept waking me up. I go back to sleep. But you can definitely tell a difference because I mean, the dog bouncing up and down all night and barking, it's going to take energy.
Right.
And then also he's not getting rest.
Yeah.
Like sleep for the next morning.
Yeah. Another thing, kind of away from the dogs, but well, I take that back. It can be getting your vest ready. Dylan, that's your favorite thing to do, ain't it?
I hate vest. That's why when I call, I try to get numbers that's already painted.
That's right. That's right. That's especially bringing. It was pretty nice when we first, at the beginning of this year, we take 2 dogs every hunt.
Yep.
It was 2 dogs. It was 2 vests. And we got lucky for the first couple ones that had the same numbers, each one. That was nice. All you had to do is put a nice little coat over them and be done. But a lot of times you can get your vest from, a lot of your feed stores, like Chestnut Mountain carries ours. That's where we get ours from. And I know if you're local to the Central Virginia area, I believe Stingers might have some vests too.
That place in New London.
Yep. Ron's Hunt. There's different areas that you can get your vests from, and a lot of those vests have the paint too that you use. And that paint is safe to use on the dogs as well. It's a certain, from my understanding, it's a certain mixture, and it doesn't harm the dogs at all. It's safe to use on them and apply directly to them. And there's a couple different methods on getting the numbers off the dogs as well. But prepping the painting the dogs, we kind of talk about in the 3-day section, but getting those vests prepped and ready. A lot of people are going to these print numbers, and it seems like they're doing very well. Have y'all noticed or seen any that have started tearing? And it seems like every time I see a daggone printed vest, it stays put for a good long time.
Yeah, I've seen a few look good, and then I've seen a few that's been, it's been used a lot for it to peel off.
Right. And I know one of the, I guess you call it opinion things, and is your color. There's different colors a lot of people use. Like a bright lime green, fluorescent green, and fluorescent pink are 2 of the colors, and then you got your normal white. I'm a white. I like my white numbers. After judging a few hunts, the white numbers just pop harder to me. I mean, everybody's different. Everybody sees different, and I like the look of the green. I know Daniel likes the green.
Oh yeah, but after judging, white is the way to go for me.
Yeah, the white just pops. I don't know that the white on black, it stands out so much better to me. It's one of them ones that I don't think I'll ever get away from. Although the pink kind of catches my fancy a little bit, but that white.
Planning on the dog, you might go black. I've used black before.
Right. Yeah, I know we did on those on my white dogs. We would put some black numbers on them, and we did it on yours too, and your red dog.
Yeah.
But we'll get a little more into that with the 3 day stuff. But the last thing I got wrote down for your 1 day kind of prepping for the hunt is make sure that your collars and GPS are daggone charged up and ready to go. That one always makes me nervous. I carry a spare. I carry a spare collar every time I go. I got at least one extra per dog, as much as I can to carry with me.
Yeah, I've done that mistake one time.
And that extra collar saved it too.
Yeah. And the bad part is, I could have sworn I took that collar off the charge.
Yeah. Was there ever anything actually wrong with that collar, or was it just a fluke? Just it didn't charge or something?
No, I got home that evening, and before I plugged it up, I was like, let me see if it cuts on. Hit the button, and it cut on. I was like, yo.
Wow.
But
well, no user.
It could have been. You know how I am in the morning.
Yeah. No. So getting into the 3 day side, and again, we're no experts. We've only had one or two under our belts, and this is just us from what we learned in the last one. It's a lot more prep. It's so much more involved to be down there 3 days. And we'll start with what we started with before, the conditioning. That's a whole nother freaking ball game when it comes to conditioning these dogs. And I think we have a whole episode, if I remember right. Right off the top of my head, I don't remember which episode it was, but we got a whole episode.
We talked about it when we had the episode with Dennis.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we sure did. And I think we talked about it a little bit with the on the 3 day episode too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't remember what number they were, but we've kind of went into detail on a lot of this stuff. But it's a whole nother ball game. But as far as the rest time, I've heard different things. I liked the 9 to 12 day rest. Them dogs are getting ready to run hard as they can, balls to the wall, full speed ahead for 3 days for 15 hours. They are about to be really put on the test. To me, and like I said, I'm no expert. I just kind of judged it off of what I kind of went with my gut. And I really like that 9 to 10 day range. Get you, if you can make it happen, get you in a pen, or one last outside stretch about 9 to 10 days before the hunt. It just seems like they're just tuned up and going from a 1 day to a 3 day, and an extra couple of days of rest compared to the 7 days or 6 days. It really seems to like just the one hunt that we did, it seemed like it made a huge difference. I mean, what do you think, Dylan?
I mean, we've done it that way and stuff. Me personally, I would like to try just the 1 week, because I'm more of a if they lay up for too long, that might affect them to like muscle, and they get like that laziness in them, shall I say?
Right.
Because the more and more you run them, they think, okay, go, gotta go, and they're getting stronger.
Right.
So, I kind of think more along the lines of a week, especially if you're doing a 3 day. So run like a Friday night or Saturday.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
And then leaving them up for a whole week.
Right.
And
I 100% get what you're saying. I've heard that. I've heard a lot of people say that too.
Yeah, and I mean there might be other people too that only give them like 3 days rest. I mean,
Right.
I mean
Right.
it's
Yeah.
it's on how you think, and I mean also it plans on how the dog tells you if it's hurting
That is
or
true.
anything like that. So
That is true.
if it's not hurting, running, getting more exercise and more muscle you're building. So
Yeah. Well, Daniel, what is your kind of? I know you haven't had any skin in the game quite yet, but whenever your dogs do get to that point, and like Dylan just said, he makes a good point. The dogs will tell you, and they'll tell you what they like, you know. But what is your kind of thought on that process of resting before a 3 day?
Like you said, the dog will kind of tell you. But
Yeah,
I would say around the 9 day,
yeah,
unless they're showing a whole lot better, you know, stuff than that. If they're
yeah.
showing good signs, everything like that, next go around, you rest them for a week.
Yeah, so I mean, it depends, you know. And Dylan, you made a great point. Like we've said, you know, the dog is going to tell you. You know, we may try it one week and do 5 days before. You know, we may get in on a Saturday night somewhere
yeah,
and get a good hard run in, and then we go to this 3 day, and by day two they're burnt out. So we'll learn from that. Like, okay, this dog right here is going to be you need a little bit more rest before.
yeah,
And then maybe my dog is like that, but your dog loved it. Your dog was one that went all 3 days and never checked up. Maybe he
yeah.
needs that extra little push at the end. You know, each dog might be different. You may have to change it up for some dogs.
Yep. Each dog's different. So
Yeah, yeah. And going into a little bit more into the prepping for the hunt, dyeing the dogs, getting ready to
yeah,
paint. For 3 days, you have to paint the dog. You cannot run a jacket. You have to paint. So getting them dyed. We used to do it when we used to dye the dogs for one day, like dummies. We would dye them the day. We would dye them on Thursday, paint them on Friday, and hunt on Saturday, and remove the paint Sunday.
yeah,
That wore you out. This last
for
hunt,
sure.
when did you dye yours for that 3 day?
I got him Wednesday and let it
Wednesday.
sit. Yeah,
See, I did mine the Saturday, the weekend before,
yeah,
and it actually held on fairly good. You know, just regular old. I think we used cover or Clairol or something like that. Black hair dye
yep.
is all it is. Dye them up like you would a woman, and, and get them ready to get painted. And that's a process. And some dogs can't stand it. I know. I know that dog of mine. Once you go to rinse him off and get him cleaned off, that he can't stand that water hitting him. Luckily,
Oh,
we got a lake when it gets warm. All you got to do is throw him in
yeah, that's right. Yeah,
it.
Wishbone goes nuts.
Uh huh. But along with that, you know, after you get them dyed and getting, you know, the day before the hunt, you got to get them numbers painted. Or the night before, a lot of people take and we did this the last hunt, the last 3 day we went down to, and we got a paint table. It's got a nice little hook arm, hooking them up to their collars and keep them standing. Get somebody to help you and paint the numbers on the side. Use stencils. Dylan's made us some stencils that work really really good. And my boss ended up giving me some numbers he used to use when he was in the sport that have been really good to us. Um, and that's a whole process. We found out, you know, we used to do about 3 layers of paint on them, and after the second layer, we figured that it was just unnecessary. We got to doing the 2 layer thing, and it's been on jackets and on the dogs, and it's been working excellent. You know, it almost seemed to me the thicker the number was, the easier it was to grab on stuff. I mean, don't you agree?
Yeah, because I mean, if you looked at what was it, Georgia's number, that one was a 53, and all you did was paint the three to an 8, and
Yeah.
that come out better. And that 59 that we run on
Right.
Wishbone, shoot, that probably had a few coats on it, and it was torn all to pieces.
Uh-huh. Yeah. But we talked about the hydration and food. Our buddy Dennis kind of taught us a trick for the 3 days and getting the food. A lot of dogs, especially right after a hunt, they kind of don't necessarily want to eat. And if they're on a different schedule, like usually each day for your hunt is done. You got your dog up by 1 o'clock if you're unlucky. And you want them dogs to eat right away. You need to get the food in their stomach while they still got they need to burn their calories, so it kind of lets them burn the calories that are instantly going in, as well as storing calories to burn for the next day. So he kind of taught us this trick was get some soft food and put it on them. A dog will always attack soft food a whole lot faster than he would a normal dry food, and mix it up with your dry food. And I was impressed. They ate it right away. I mean, just flat out dug into it. And that seemed to work really good. And the hydration too, keep them hydrated. There's a company, and I cannot remember the name of the company itself, but they make a hydration powder that you can put in there, and it's all natural. It's extremely healthy for them. There's nothing bad about them. It's pretty much just a dog's Pedialyte. Is pretty much what it is. You pour the powder in the water and mix it up real good and give it to them, and they lap it up, and it replenishes a lot of electrolytes and stuff like that in their bodies, and it does real good. I know it's called Go Powder is like the name of it, but I'm not 100% sure who actually makes it. Do y'all remember off the top of your heads any?
I don't.
Mm-mm. I want to say when I looked it up, all it says is Go Dog. I think it is, and then you got the Go Dog for the food, and then you got it for the water.
Right. Another thing that I noticed, and I haven't gotten into this yet, and I know there's a couple different methods of doing this, but a lot of guys at your 3 days will soak their feet. And I was never 100% sure what the process for that was or why they would do it, but it actually, if there's any kind of grit and trash, maybe up under their toenails or in their pads and stuff like that, you soak their feet. It's I don't know if it's in like an Epsom salt or if it's just or what, but and some people use like buddies of ours, they used like a brush on kind of deal, but it pulls all that nasty crap out of their feet, and it gives them pretty much fresh paws for the next day, and it also kind of soothes their foot, relaxes their foot a little bit. They've been on them running as hard as they can for 5 hours. Why not give them a little relief on it? That was one of the things that I was unprepared for when I went to that 3 day was the whole feet soaking. And you could tell, my buddies hooked me up on the second day, after the second day, going into the third day, and you could tell how he was pulling and pushing on his feet. You could tell he was just a lot more comfortable with them. So it's definitely something whenever we do our next 3 day, which hopefully won't be too much longer from now. And it'll be something we look into. Something else is the muscle rub. It was they actually used a horse, like a gel that they rubbed on their shoulders and their quads and stuff like that, and their muscles around their legs. And it was just a soothing gel, just a muscle relaxer gel. Something, it's little tricks like that. And, we kind of said that this is going to be a prep, but this is for the 3 days. You prep each day. You prep for the next day. You prep in between days. And then kind of just keep on rolling here. The rest between days. I know what seems to be the common consensus is pick up your dog as fast as you can, bring them in, get them fed, and put them in their lots and get them ready to rest. And do not wake them up for hours until they're ready to be woke up. It seemed to be a big thing. They're going to be tired. They're going to be rest. There's no point in keeping them up. Let them rest. When they get up or you look like they got plenty of rest, it seems that most everybody let them rest for 4 or 5 hours. That gives you time after you got them up to get yourself something to eat, go check the scores, all that kind of stuff, and kind of get yourself mentally prepared. And then get ready to attack, repaint the numbers, get their feet soaked, get them hydrated again, muscle rubs, and that kind of stuff. So the in between seems almost, if not more, important than the pre-hunt. And then another big thing, kind of finish on this with for the 3-day stuff is your collars and GPS again. Not only do you got to have one collar, but you don't want to rely on that one collar for that dog
all 3 days.
For all 3 days. Yeah. I know the last time I took, I had 2, and I think one of yours, right, Dylan?
Yeah.
So we had 2 collars for each dog. So the first day we'd use one. I'd take it to the hotel, or if I'm sleeping in the truck, I would keep it on the car chargers. Let that thing charge all night, all day, all night, and then have that one ready again for the 3rd day while using your other collar for the 2nd day. Just again, this is kind of just an informative episode on what we've learned from the past hunts and stuff like that. But can y'all think of anything else as far as your 1 and 3 day hunts go?
No, that's pretty much covered. I mean, hydration. Yeah. We said that several times, but that's right. A key factor too.
Yeah. Keeping them hydrated. I know. The last day I had to mix up an extra batch of my hydration water, I guess you'd call it. For mine, you could pull his skin and it just didn't want to snap back. You could tell it moved back into position slow, so you knew he was dehydrated. So yeah, I mean that's a big deal. They're burning a lot of sweat out there. So going into your deer season, I know here in Virginia, I don't know how it is in all the other states, but here in Virginia, we start the weekend before Thanksgiving. And before that, there's bow season starts in October. That goes for 4 weeks. The first weekend of November is muzzleloader season, and you get the first weekend and the second weekend is November is muzzleloader season. So there's 6 weeks right there in a row, and I think this is one of the biggest challenges that a deer dog hunter faces is keeping your dog healthy for those 6 weeks. You're not going to go out in the middle of the day while these guys are out there hunting. You got to show respect to your fellow deer hunters that are out there doing still hunting. So I know one method that we like to do is once it gets dark, we'll go put the collars on the dogs and just let them out the lots and let them go for a couple hours.
Yep.
It ain't got to be long. It ain't got to be nothing where you're running at midnight till 1 o'clock in the morning, nothing like that, and messing up people and disturbing the peace out there. But it's going to get dark around 6:30?
Sure. 5.
Cut them. Yeah.
5:30.
Yeah. Cut them suckers loose and let them run for a couple hours. Burn some energy off. Burn some fat off.
Yep.
Yeah, it puts a strain on you. But if you want your dogs not looking like potatoes by the time the first day of hunting season comes around, that's something that you got to do.
Yep. It's got to be done
Yeah.
regardless. I mean, you go out there the first day, you're ready to go, but your dog is sitting there like, not happening.
It's like, man, I've been in a lot for 6 weeks. What are you doing?
Yeah.
I know some people will take and let me kind of sidestep on this one. I know, and Dylan, you got a few too. We got some strictly deer dogs. We got ones that don't go to fox hunts,
Yep.
and I don't take my deer dogs with pins anymore. Period. I don't like what it did to them. It messed them up, made them try to run roads, and it just didn't. I didn't like what it was doing to them. So I keep mine away from pins um, as much as I possibly can. Now, if it gets to the point where I need to really get a good burn in before the season starts, I might see if I can't slip them in somewhere one night. But I try not to for several reasons. But I try to keep mine out. So the night running, the dark running is my only really kind of way to keep them slimmed down.
Yep.
Um, each when it gets to season two, each day, and we talk about this a lot. Your dogs are going to tell you if they're ready, if they're wanting to go. I don't like seeing. I'm not a big fan of people forcing a dog to go out there. I've had one time that I can think of that I've pushed a dog a little too far that I really wanted to. And I had a dog that just got done on about a 5 or 6 hour sprint of running during season. And he was tired. He was done. This was during the last 2 weeks. He was spent. He'd been running every day for the past 4 or 5 days. And he just got off one heck of a powerful run. And he was done. He didn't want to come out the box. Well, the big buck ended up crossing near us, and I was able to get there. Well, he's the only dog I had in the box. We didn't want to lose him, didn't want to lose track, didn't have any other dogs around. And I pulled him out the box and got him on. It was enough to buy us time to get more dogs to the chase. Once the other dogs got in the chase, I picked him up and put him back. And took him home and put him back in the lot and let him get some rest. Because he was done. But a dog's going to tell you if he going out in the mornings to go pick them, load them up and get them ready to go out and ready for the chases for the whole day. If that dog ain't coming to the lot to the end of the door and ready to jump in the box, might need to give that dude a rest. I mean, what do y'all think?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Mine's the type though. If they walk to the truck, they're not 100%. But if they're dragging me to the truck, they're ready to go.
That's right. That's right. But that's one of the biggest things, and keeping them. I know I mentioned this before. Keeping plenty of food and water in their systems. They're going to eat. They know. Maybe the first week or so, they're not gonna know exactly. Like they may have kind of lost track. Like, okay, we'll do this for 6 weeks out of the year, so they may not eat right away. But again, you'll be able to tell if they haven't ate and if they're not ready. So keeping them hydrated, extremely hydrated, and and food each day like they're supposed to is another key thing to keep these dogs running all season. Did y'all have any other thoughts on deer season kind of prep?
No, that's pretty much it. Just keeping them conditioned and uh, food and water, and should be good.
Right. Could you think of anything else, Daniel?
No, I mean, really,
Yeah.
hydration, food, biggest
Yeah.
parts, and then just keep an
It's
eye on how they're acting.
yeah. And it's not a big thing, you keep your collars charged, obviously, but that's kind of common sense. But
Yeah.
um, yeah, so I mean, that's kind of a short episode as far as the talking side goes, but we had to make up a little bit from lost time last week with the hunts and results and stuff. So I got a lot of the results wrote down. There was a pile of hunts over the past 2 weekends, but before I get into that, let me do a special note. If you're in Virginia, we shared it on our podcast Facebook page. And it'd be you really ought to look into sending your emails. I've sent mine from um, some of my personal account. I need to get it sent from the Houndstales email too. But there is a 8-point plan that has been given to the DWR to end dog hunting. It's pretty much what it's attempting to do. It's not necessarily verbatim ending it, but it's practically putting a cease to it. Here are the 8 points for those that haven't seen it. And again, all this information and who you can email is on our Facebook page, along with the Virginia Hunting Dog Alliance's page. But here are the 8 points. Some of them not as bad as others, but we'll start kind of from least to worst. Registering each hunting club will be mandatory. So you have to register your hunting club with the state. And you'll have to have a minimum acreage. I don't know what that acreage would be, but I think most of the time you're looking at the 4,000 to 5,000 acres range. Number 3 was going to be prohibiting dogs from being released from public highways. So no stopping on the side of the road to release your hounds and turn loose. Number 4, this one's just completely insane. I don't know how even this would work, but they want to require a written plan for each day for every turn loose every day. So every time you turn your dog loose, they want to have where, when, what time, and how many dogs you turn loose, what dogs, and all that. Number 5, register every hunter, every dog, and tie them to the club. So you would have to, with the state, register yourself and register your dogs to yourself and register yourself to the club. Number 6 would be the requirement of tracking and shock collars on every dog. And you would be required to shock dogs to stop the chase as they go at a property bounds. And that's just that's cruel and unusual to me.
Yeah, that dog's doing what it's supposed to. You don't shock it when you do that.
No, you don't do that. You don't do that. They also want to limit the number of dogs that you can turn loose at a time. That's number 7. And here's probably the worst one. They want to reduce the number of days that hound hunting is allowed. What they're proposing is the last week, 1 week. So here's my point to this. And a lot of people have made a big stir, and I think it should be brought more to light. The Virginia Department of Game and Inland Fisheries. I hope y'all are listening. I really do. I'd like to see a number of deer killed every season by dogs that are killed in front of dogs. Everybody out there that's against dog hunting but hates having deer run out in front of them at night and has ever had their car hit, you can thank us for keeping that population down. If you want to keep the deer population down, thank your dog hunter. Most of your dog hunters are out there to eat the deer. They're not hunting horns. We love the sport. We love what we do. We love hearing the dogs, but we are out there for a lot of us are out there not only for the dogs, but to have food to put on the plates. You never, especially the way this world is now, you never know when it's going to hit the fan. That may be all you got. But the Department of Game and Inland Fisheries, Virginia, will not release, and I've never seen the number. If somebody has the number, I'd love to see it. Has not released the number. When you call and check in your deer, they ask that question: is what was it killed in front of dogs? But they never release it every year. They release how many deer were killed in every county, and can pretty much put it date to date. But they won't release the number of deer killed in front of dogs. I think that's crap.
Yep.
I don't know if they're scared to release it or what, but I'd like to see that number. So if you want to help keep our sport, if you want to put a voice, email, go on the Facebook page and find that link, and it's got a list of all the emails that you can send to representatives that you can voice your opinion and try to let them know, like, hey, let's keep this alive. Let's keep this sport. Give a good, detailed email. Don't be rude. Be sensible about it. Let's see if we can't do our own part in keeping the sport alive. So before I get into the results, guys, do y'all have anything else, especially on that subject?
Send your emails.
Yeah, reach out.
Yeah. I mean, we got to do our part. We got to. It's not a lot. It's just a simple email, but voices being heard is huge. The moment we give up, the moment it leaves.
That's right. Then when you'll be regretting it.
Yep. So get into the hunts and results here. I'll start with last week, not the previous weekend, but the weekend before, the 15th and 16th of May. This one's pretty cool. Grassy Branch Fox Preserve had the Brysons hunt for a donor. At the hunt itself, between donations, between sponsors, between the hunters, everybody that made any kind of contributions for the hunt, straight to the hunt itself, $27,771 was raised to give to the family.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That needs to be brought to light so much. I mean, look what one simple fox hunt can do. I don't know the whole story behind the Brysons deal, but with one single hunt, $27,000 was raised, almost 28 grand. And they also started a GoFundMe page for people that wanted to donate that weren't able to make it. And the grand total of everything together, including the hunt, was almost $40,000, $39,574.15.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
So that's huge. That's incredible. That family, I don't know 100% what they're going through, but just to have that many people that were willing to do it based off a fox hunt. Just imagine if that fox hunt wasn't allowed to be done no more. Let's keep this sport alive, people. That's the kind of difference we can make right there. Your results, it was a 2-class puppy hunt. The younger class, this dog, the first place dog, is out of Harris Swamp's Gunner and Harris Swamp's Blueberry. Dog's name was Harris Swamp's Crook from Harris Swamp Kennels. Second place was Patterson's Big Mike's out of Patterson and Sons Kennels. And third place was Boogie out of Birdville Kennels. That's some of your dog, ain't it? Patterson's, ain't it, Daniel?
Yeah. Yep.
You got some Patterson blood.
I do.
The older class, this dog is the first place dog is at a knockout Squatch and Salty Dogs Rachel. Showtime was the name of it from Stack 'em Up Kennels. Second place was Earl out of Middle Swamp Kennels, and third was HTPK's Skeptic from Hell to Pay Kennels. The Old Tram Shootout was that weekend. It took 874 GTP points to win. First place dog was at H&J's Arky. I hope I said that right. And Shake and Bake's BB. Dog's name was H&J's Ghost from H&J Kennels. Second place was HBK's Shady from Hunter's Pride Kennel. And third place was Champion All or Nothing Calcutta out of All or Nothing Kennels. The Neuse River 2-day puppy hunt was also that weekend. It took, with the 2 days combined, it took 3,135 points to win.
Wow.
Right? Right.
That's crazy.
That's awesome. We're putting some numbers up, weren't they?
Yes, they were.
Your winner down there, it's dogs out of Belly Up Cutlass and Belly Up Purdy. Wade's Blaze from Low Ground Kennels. Second place was Branton's Bullet from Hillside Kennels. And third place was Yak Yak from FOY Hill Kennels. Frog Level had a puppy hunt that weekend. First place dog was out of M&M Blade and Belly Up Lil Foxy. Belly Up Sweetie from Belly Up Kennels. Langley's Ginger was second out of Fire Tower Kennels, and also out of Fire Tower Kennels, it was third with Langley's Rockstar. Bushytail Fox Preserve had a hunt down there. It took 1,130 points to win. First place, dogs out of Butler's Trident C and Butler's Sundance. Callie is the name of the dog from Rock Solid Kennels. Second place was Johnson's Hambone out of Nottoway Kennels, and third place was Automatic out of J&M Kennels. McDonald Bay Preserve had a puppy hunt. Took 1,240 points to win. First place dog was out of Bond Smoke and Goodwin's Miss Brown. Shane's Midnight, Jacob Boy's Kennels. Second place was Cutting Up's Pig out of Cutting Up Kennels. And third was PayPal's Checkbook out of PayPal Kennels. Tri-County had Tri-County Coyote Preserve had a hunt that weekend. It took 530 points to win. That dog was out of two dogs named Waggy and Salsa. Margarita was the name of the dog from Bay Bush Kennel. Second place was Dale's Tank from Get 'em Up Kennels. Third was Afterburner Speedwig, I believe is the name of that dog, from Afterburner Kennels. The Twin County Fox Pen had a hunt down there that weekend also. It took 400 points to win. First place was out of Jet Pilot Ray and Hal's Brown Bird. I've been seeing that mix a few times pop up in the results.
Yeah.
Hal's it must be a heck of a cross, but Hal Spade was the dog's name out of Hal and Sons Kennels. Second place was East Coast T-Berry from East Coast Kennels. Third place was BG Cougar from Bear Grass Kennels. The Tally Ho Fox Pen also had a hunt that weekend. It took 1,452 GTP points to win. First place was out of Southern Preacher and Southern Heat. Hester Boys Deacon, Hester Boys Kennels.
Heard that one a few times.
That Deacon dog has done won a bunch of hunts, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Second place was Southern Tips out of Southern Sound Kennel. And third place, also out of Southern Sound Kennels, was Southern Outlaw. All right, the Breeders' Cup West was also that weekend. The dog that won that hunt was Watson's Bottoms Droop. The dog is out of Champions, Pinedale's Bomber B, and Stigl Sioux 2 out of Pinedale's Kennel. Second place was Hertz Polly from Low Roller Kennel. Third place was Full Count Corona from Full Count Kennels. And our buddy James Diener messaged us and sent us the results from the Beagle Hunt at Stony Creek that weekend. The old dogs, let's see. The first place dog in the old dog class was out of Shake and Bake Spider-Man and Richey's Susie from Shake and Bake Kennels, Shake and Bake's Bigfoot. Second place was Screaming Beagle Susie Q from Screaming Beagle's Kennel. And third place was Run and Gun Wahoo from Run and Gun Kennels. The young puppy hat class, this dog first place was out of FC's Southern Styles Megatron and Dixie. West Creek Steph from West Creek Kennels. Second place was Fence Jump Gangster from Fence Jump Kennels. And third place was Snapchat from Porky the Pig Kennels. That's the name right there, Porky the Pig.
Yeah.
All right. This weekend, starting off with the Mid-South Masters. Let's see, the all-age class. Your first place dog was out of Farmer's Sticker and Burnt Toast Snub Nose. Bond's Butterfly from Triple B Kennels. Second place was TRC's White Sox. That dog is from TRC's McCaskey. I believe that's right. McCaskey and Sons Kennels. Third place was also your combination winner. He's out of ECC's Thelm from East Carolina Coalition. The Derby, your winner was out of Champions Wallace Diceman and Broke Rice Brown Sugar. Brody's Minnow from Prestige Worldwide. Second place was your combination winner, and that dog's name is J. Barber's Gotch out of Kick 'em Back Kennels. And third place was Bond's Buckskin Ray out of Triple B Kennels. J&J had a puppy hunt, took 570 points to win. First place dog was at a Dead Ready Bowie and Echo Hills Hattie. Dog's name was Buckwheat from Dead Ready Kennels. Second place was Hotspot from R&D Kennels. Third place was Scooter from Forest Creek Kennels. Taylor Jens had an A5 hunt. Took 1,275 points to win. First place dog was at a T-Bird's Ben and DWI's Gypsy. From dog's name is Rose from Turnside Speed. Also from there, from Turnside Speed Kennels is a dog named AK. And third place was a dog named Camo from Carrington Jones. The Tri-County Coyote Preserve also had a hunt this weekend. The even class took 675 points to win. Salem Church Pink was your winner. The dog's out of T-Bird's Ben and DWI's Gypsy from Salem Church Kennels. Also from Salem Church Kennels was a dog named Anna. That dog was second. And LT Shooter from Alvin, RD, and HBK was third. The odd class took 500 points to win. The dog's out of Buck's Meathead and Buck Bridget from Rochelle's Big Buck from Probert's. I'm sorry. The dog's name is Rochelle's Big Buck out of Problem Solved Kennels. Second place was LT's Letty from Alvin, RD, and HBK. And third place was Langley's Ginger from Firetown Kennels. Piedmont Training Preserve also had the two-day derby, and I could not make out any of the readings on any of the results. So I do apologize, but from what I could tell about all the posts about it looked like it was one heck of a hunt. So I do apologize for not being able to get those results to everybody. I know I missed a few other hunts too, but the last one I'm going to get to, our buddy Brad hosted a hunt down there the night of the Nottoway. I really wish we could have got down to that. Just had too much going on this weekend to make it, but it sounded like it was a heck of a hunt. Sounded like Pools was jamming all 5 hours down there. So congrats, buddy, on a good hunt, and I hope y'all keep on making it happen. We'll be sure to get down there and get to the next one. Derby class took 205 points to win. First place dogs out of Pfeiffer's Billy the Kid and Osborne's Angie J. Dog's name is Kenny from Wake Creek Kennels. Second place was G Smoke Cover Girl from G Smoke Kennels. Third place was Lenny's Mater out of Shirley Creek Kennels. The all-age class took 265 points. And let's see if y'all can remember who won this one. This dog was out of Cox's Howard and Rose's Little Ann. Can y'all tell me who won? I know y'all know it. Y'all know that combination.
If I remember correctly, if that was the same one, was that Ringo?
Close. The Tidewater F&D champion, Old School Pungo.
Pungo
Done put it on him again down there. And dogs out of Old School Kennels. Second place was Short Legs Mary out of Short Leg Kennels. And third place was Buck out of Old School Kennels. Ain't that funny? Buck and Mary down there.
I know. That threw me off. I was like, wait, what?
That's all I got wrote down for this episode, guys. I didn't get a chance. I know I missed a few, and I didn't get a chance to write down any of the upcoming hunts, but there's a lot coming up. I know we got one coming up in July that we just got numbers for down there at TNS, and I think Local Boys is the name of the hunt club that's putting it on. Can't wait to get down that one. That one ought to be a powerful hunt.
If I'm not mistaken, the truck hunt is this coming weekend.
No, I believe you're right. If it's not,
If it wasn't,
I don't think it's. I think it's next weekend. I think it's the 5th, if I remember right. Hang on, I can tell you right now. Just a second. Hang on.
I'm pretty sure this past weekend he had another buddy hunt. No,
he had a judge hunt, and then he should have a buddy hunt this weekend. July 5th is the hunt for a truck.
Okay, so two more weekends.
Yeah. Not this weekend, but next weekend. So, well, guys, that's about an hour long there. So, y'all be sure to share. Everybody out there listening, thank y'all for all your support. We're also looking still for 2 more sponsors for the banner that we're going to be making. Getting Roxy to make the banner for us. We got 2 more we're looking to secure. Just hit us up on Facebook and be glad to work with you. And other than that, thank y'all for listening. Please share away and let us know what we can do to improve the episode. We'll keep rocking and rolling. So thank y'all very much. And if y'all guys ain't got nothing else, we'll cut it off. What do you think?
Yeah, I believe that's it for the night.
All righty, guys. Well, I appreciate everybody listening again. Everybody have a good week. Good luck this weekend, everybody hunting, and happy hunting, everybody.